Oh, boy. This is going to be nasty. Okay, first off, I want to say once again, I'm very sorry for the lack of uploads. Again, I don't really have a lot of ideas in me. And second, in today's video, I am going to be reviewing what is possibly considered one of the worst animated movies ever made. It's Food Fight. I've seen on the internet how bad this movie is, but the only reason I watched it was because I probably had to see it to believe it, and when I did about 2 years ago. Oh, heck. Did I believe all that stuff? So thanks to Lewis20, I now have to go and review this atrocious movie. Of course I'm not hating on him at all, he's a good fan of mine, but he was just the one that requested this. I really didn't want to review this terrible movie for myself. I never want to touch upon this thing again. But now that I must, is it really some of the worst that the animation industry has to offer? Or is all the backlash the movie gets an over-exaggeration? Let's see. The storyline. Alright, so the whole concept of this movie is that when the supermarket closes for the night, all of the grocery products come to life, and it becomes a city that has some recognizable supermarket mascots. I can already point out an obvious flaw here. This concept is clearly a Toy Story clone. You just can't mess with Toy Story. Although there are a few occasions where Toy Story ripoffs would be some pretty okay movies. For instance, The Secret Life of Pets wasn't bad, but it was clearly a Toy Story clone, but decent for what it was. On this note though, oh boy, things get so out of place here. The whole story itself just becomes so out of focus that it doesn't even know what it tries to give out, and in its concept, it tries to set its own rules, but later on they just become forgotten and pointless and just breaks out doing whatever it wants to do. Consistency is completely absent in this movie. Like, for example, why are Dex and Dan out of the grocery world during the movie? Do the people see them in the supermarket? How can Dex fly on a soda bottle? Isn't there a rule about not being seen by any human beings? Is there any logic in the grocery world? Does the grocery world come to life all day as well as all night? Can they just go from the grocery world to the human world? Can humans even enter the grocery world? Isn't the grocery world the entire store when nobody's here? Like, did the director just completely get muddled up and so confused when making this? Just, why? Why? Another thing wrong about this story is that the tone is very confused. It can't decide whether it wants to be a detective movie where Dex has to find out what happened to his girl or an invasion route in the movie. Both plots are very predictable and bland and are hardly examined. And the last 30 minutes of the movie are just filled with an extremely long and boring battle scene. The movie also has really dumb and unfunny gags with every lowbrow one you can find, terrible jokes. And the humor is just, no. Just, no, please, no. It's just vile. Even worse, the movie includes some really obvious and horrible innuendos that just absolutely disgust you while watching. In fact, when I watched this, I took a bath when it ended because of all that dirtiness. The movie also doesn't even know which audience it wants to appeal to. Since it's rated PG, it might seem like younger audiences, right? Well heck, no! With all the terrible puns, awfully disgusting humor and dirty innuendos, it seems like it doesn't even try to appeal to its given rating. With so much going on, and everything not working, a story for this movie is just completely absent. So it easily earns a 0 out of 10. The animation. This isn't the last of Food Fight's problems though. Now, the overall budget for the movie was estimated at $65 million, which is quite a lot of money to throw into an animated movie. But the animation looks like the budget was about $1. This got a limited release in some places, and they actually considered this an okay finished product. How in the heck can anybody consider this? Everything just looks so horrifying in their computer animated forms. Some characters look so nightmarishly ugly as heck that probably even the bravest person in the world would get scared from them. The backgrounds are also bad, and the textures are just very cheap looking and don't look like what they are meant to be at all. The way that the characters move are so horrifyingly ugly with the terrible motion capture and such horrible use of squash and stretch as if it was trying to be like a cartoon. Also, The effects are so cheesy that I'd say even the effects on my editing software are better than those. Even worse, I found one layering problem in the movie, where Sunshine Goodness is keeping up being a melon, but when the camera moves with her doing that, you'll notice for a quick shot that the melon goes in front of a kid's head when it is meant to be behind it. Like, how can you mess up something like that? Any food that is used during the battle just ends up looking like goo, as if they couldn't even be bothered to use the details for the certain foods. This is probably some of the worst animation that has ever been put in a film. Heck, even Norm of the North's animation was better, and it has a budget of $18 million, even if it is still some bad animation. With such comparisons, I think everybody can agree that the animation gets an easy 0 out of 10. The characters. Oh, I just want to stop. This is all too much. But at least I'm almost done with the review. So now I have to talk about these characters. I can just sum up overall that they are bland, generic and forgettable. First, there's Daredevil Dan, Dex's sidekick, who is not only the comic relief, but the way he flirts at women is just so unbearable to watch. It had me shuddering. Lady X is the villain, but she's just horrifying with the innuendos in the movie. Dr. Xenostrix is the scientist, but he is actually a Jewish stereotype. I'm not kidding. Sunshine Goodness is not only the love interest of Dex, but I am seriously questioning her IQ. Chiweasel T-Weasel is just a very disgusting character. He looks like the color of poop. And yes, I do despise you, Chiweasel. The list just goes on. There is no appealing traits in any of these characters at all, and there's also no subtlety in the movie either. There may be some recognizable supermarket mascots in this movie, but they are just wasted for some small cameos, so no surprises here. As for Dex Dog Detective, he may have some kind of backstory, but the broken writing just forces him to spew out awful food jokes. These characters are just so unbearably horrible that people are easily going to get nightmares from them. People are probably going to get nightmares from this movie alone. Maybe Dex isn't as bad as the rest, but he is still bad, and every other character is even worse than just that. I'm going to give my only point to this movie with the characters getting a score of 1 out of 10. This movie should just not have existed at all. Like, ever. Food Fight is possibly one of the worst movies overall that I have ever had to sit through, filled with such broken writing, a predictably inconsistent story, obnoxiously disgusting humor combined with completely vile innuendos, hideous animation, horribly cheesy effects, recognizable supermarket mascots just given limited screen time, and the characters are nightmare fuel. I know, this movie had a troubled production, as the original files for the older version of the movie were stolen back in 2002, but if it were released as its original product, it would still be a bad movie, with only just slightly better looking animation. Please, just avoid this awful film at all costs, unless you want to believe how bad it really is. I mean, yeah, you could find it enjoyably bad, but that would be hard, as it is actually nightmare-inducing. If you do watch it, I wish you the best of luck trying to not get nightmares from this horror. Food Fight has only gotten 1 point out of a possible 30, which translates to an overall score of 0 out of 10. Well, I did it. I finally got this review done. I really hope you enjoyed this review. And my suffering. If you did, please leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are new to my channel. And hit the bell to be notified of any future content I make. I can finally get out of this padded cell and have a relax after reviewing this terrible movie and going insane about it. Anyways, thank you for watching. And I'll see you all in the next video. That's if someone would let me out of here. Anyone? Can you at least hear me? Subscribe by clicking on my profile picture that has a yellow background, and subscribe to my good friend, DBG channel, right above my picture. Also check out some of my videos, including my unusual news reports and more. Thank you!